Good morning, students. Today I will start my class of computer fundamentals again from the topic of memory or the memory unit. So, as we all know that memory is often known as the primary memory, okay? So, what is memory also known as? It is known as the primary memory. It is not like that of human memory because data stored in this memory automatically flashes out with power cutoff. Now, unlike that of the human memory, okay, what is the USP of this memory? That is, it flushes out, okay, it will no longer be present, okay, and it will be flushed off when the power is cut off. And that is why, since this memory is not that stable, it is called volatile because it loses its existence after the power is cut off, okay. Now, memory, it is the workplace of computer system where data is to be kept on temporary basis. So, primary memory is that particular memory where data is present but for a temporary basis, okay. Now, the memory locations are all having a unique address, okay, which we call the first unit address is called bit. And similarly, you can see the structure here that these are 8 bits is equal to 1 bit, 4 bits is equal to 1 nibble, 1024 byte is equal to 1 kilobyte, 1024 KB is equal to 1 MB, 1024 megabyte or MB is equal to 1 GB or gigabyte, 1024 gigabyte is equal to 1 terabyte, 1024 terabyte is equal to 1 petabyte, 1024 petabyte is equal to 1 exabyte, and 1024 exabyte is equal to 1 zettabyte, okay. Although the highest memory available is 1 gigabyte, okay, that is the amount of memory consumed by Google Earth, okay, it's called 1 gigabyte. So that is the highest structure of memory available. Now we have another concept here which we call memory access time. Let us understand. The total time taken to access data from memory is called memory access time. The amount of time taken to retrieve data from memory is called memory access time. Now let us see the next slide. Now there are ideally two types of primary memory, RAM and ROM. From childhood classes you have just learned that RAM means random access memory, ROM means read only memory, okay. So how they are both different from each other, let's see. The memory which is in direct contact of CPU is known as primary memory, and both RAM and ROM are in direct contact of the CPU, okay, and they are also a part of the memory access time, okay. So they are following the memory access time procedure too. So see how the arrangement lies. From the processor itself, in the memory bus, the RAM and ROM are attached. You can see there are two RAM ports in the motherboard where they are attached. I will show you the motherboard diagram in a separate day, and followed by the IO hardware, okay. Now we will uniquely understand about RAM. In RAM, any memory cell can be accessed from a desired memory location. So we can access any memory cell from a desired location. Alright. The connection between memory and its environment is established by data, input, output lines and address line. Now, beside the RAM where you attach, you will see different lines coming out. Okay. There are two different lines. One is the address line of memory. Another is the read and write function following the address line of memory. Because number of the input lines is more the output you will get, and that depends upon the quality of the RAM. If you are using a DDR2 RAM, it has got lesser input lines. If you use DDR4 RAM, you will get more input lines, okay. Now, so here this is the block diagram of data transfer in RAM, okay. And here an important thing that you will see, memory unit 2 to the power k words n bit per word. That means more the RAM. So see, if you have a 8 GB RAM, So 2 to the power n units. That means how much units are there? 8. Okay. So 2 to the power, how much? Now we have to say 8 GB. What is 8 GB is equal to how much bytes? Okay. So that much unit of address lines you will get, which is huge figure. Okay. Imagine, I will just tell you that 1 GB is equal to 2 to the power 48 bytes. So 2 to the power to the whole power of 2 to the power 48 input lines you will get. So you can imagine the data is quite huge. Okay. It will be about millions and trillions of lines, of more than trillions in fact, input lines you all will get. And still that is very less. Okay. You can imagine how computers are processing rate are increasing day by day. Okay. It is not possible to imagine processing without RAM because the efficiency of RAM depends upon the capacity of the RAM. So processing without RAM is not at all possible. Okay. Now there are two types of RAM, DRAM and SRAM. Dynamic RAM, D stands for dynamic as I told you. It basically consists of transistor and capacitor. Let me show you. There is a diagram. So these are the transistors and there is a capacitor attached to it. Okay. As per switching of transistor, capacitor does not contain a charge 1 bit and does not contain a charge 0 bit. So when the transistors switch between each other, there is no exchange of capacitor charge. Okay. Nowadays the memory access time of DRAM chip is from 20 to 70 nanoseconds. This is quite fast. Okay. The storage density of DRAM is ranging from 10 to hundreds GB. Okay. And DRAM needs to be refreshed again and again, which is a tedious job for the processor. It needs to be refreshed every time. So processor has their work cut out. Now SRAM, static RAM, is made up of internal flip-flops where one flip-flop has capable of storing 1 bit. It occupies more space compared to DRAM and it is fast as compared to DRAM. SRAM is expensive compared to that of DRAM. Yes, faster, expensive, but the only limitation is that the memory access time of SRAM is quite higher, but it can store huge amount of data. Okay. Now coming to the ROM chip. The other name of the ROM chip is the soft board. Okay, we call it soft board. SOFT-BOARD. As the name implies, the memory is only for read operation. It is programmed at the time of hardware setting. Whatever we store in this memory cannot be changed later. So memory is fixed. You cannot make it dynamic. Whatever is written inside will stay. You cannot add anything. ROM is to be used in situation when we know that information needs not to be changed in the future. For example, the firmware, the booting software is present inside the ROM. Okay, because it cannot be changed in the lifetime of the computer. So there are certain areas where ROM chips are used which is stagnated and cannot be changed. Now ROM are of many types, like read-only memory is there, PROM is there, programmable read-only memory. So you can get a question, explain the different types of ROM. So this is the answer. Okay. EPROM is erasable programmable read-only memory, and nowadays whatever ROM we see are all EEPROM, electrically erasable version 1. Okay. Now storage unit is bit different from that of the memory unit because storage unit pertains to the secondary storage, okay, or the secondary memory. Because storage unit came into being because of the limitation of primary memory, because primary memory's volatileness, okay, has created another need or requirement of a storage device that can store data permanently. Now let us see why secondary storage came into being. Because it could store huge amount of data, and there are various storage devices that nowadays we are using, like hard disk, both internal and external ones, pen drives, CD DVDs, Blu-ray disc, okay, memory cards and magnetic tapes, okay. So we have completed an entire memory concept. From next class onwards, we'll again revise system bus, and that particularly I will teach you at the school campus itself, because from first you all are coming, and also we will have a bit of theory discussion, and then we will go for the practicals. Okay. So thank you children for watching the class. I hope you have understood. I will give you the questions related to this chapter later. Okay. And so that you all can practice. Thank you all for being a part of the class today.